Hello and welcome back to our next session on Google Drawings. I'm going to scoot over here to the alignment. I'm going to drop down, I'm going to choose center. I'm going to come over here, I'm going to choose bold. These are working because I have cast a shadow on the text. If you do not illuminate or cast a shadow on the text, that will not change. So I'm going to click over here. Oh my word, all those things disappeared. Yes. In order for that toolbar to come back, make sure that you have clicked inside of the text so the computer knows that you would like to work with text. Over here, you also have the option of bullets. So if you have specific talking points and you want bullets, so there's talking point number 1, talking point number 2, enter, talking point number 3, and so on. Bullets are definitely an option for you. I'm going to delete those because bullets are not important to me. In order to get rid of that bullet, I'm going to click right here one more time in order to turn the bullets off. My other option is if I want them itemized in an outline form, I can easily do that as well. Click on any one of these in order to insert those formatting options. In order for the menu to display, make sure that you're choosing the down-facing triangle. If you're simply clicking the icon itself, you're either turning that feature on or off, and the default will be applied. Once again, that down-facing triangle will reveal different characteristics for you to choose from, so that you can select the specific style that meets your needs. Now, let's pretend that you want a hyperlink to show up inside your drawing. I'm going to put click here. Maybe that's important to you. Within this tutorial, I use the phrase hyperlink. Let me define that quickly. Here on the screen, you can see two different web addresses. They're technically exactly the same address, but one has different characteristics than the other one. The one on the bottom is simply the text itself directing you to where that is housed. www.amazon.com. The top one is slightly different because I have embedded information that will allow you to click and go. On the bottom one, I can't click and go, but on the top one, I can click, and then right here, I can click to be redirected to that specific website. So when I use the word hyperlink, I mean that it's activated and ready to go, and when you click on it, you'll be redirected to that specific location. Let's pretend for just a second that you need a web link of some kind. I opened an adjacent tab where it is a Mary Poppins fan page. Whatever lesson objectives you have for your students, that would be specific to that assignment. I'm going to scoot all the way up here. This is called the Omni Bar. When I click one time, it illuminates the whole thing. If you accidentally clicked twice and it's not illuminated, you can hold the control button down and touch the letter A for all of that to be illuminated. I'm going to use my keyboard again. This time I'm going to hold the control button down. I'm going to touch the letter C for copy. I'm going to come back over to this tab right here, the Mary Poppins tab that I've been working with. I'm going to only cast a shadow on the item that says click here. I'm going to hold the shift button down on my keyboard. I'm going to use the arrow to scoot over to the left. In retrospect, I probably should have chosen a background that wasn't blue because the blue on blue is a little bit difficult for you to see. So here we go. There's better contrast. Sorry about that. And then inside the toolbar, you'll see the chain located right here. For those of you that like keyboard shortcuts, you would use Control K, K for kingdom. Both of those would achieve the same outcome. And oh, look. See right there when I hover on top of there, it says Control plus K. So if you forget any of those keyboard shortcuts, sometimes Google is kind enough to let you know what the answer is, so you can find that easily. I'm going to click right here one time. I'm going to choose Control V for victory or paste. And then I'm going to choose the apply button located right here. And when I do that, there is now a hyperlink behind here. So if I export this as a PDF, my users can click on it. The only way to get back in here is to officially click on here, and then any of my friends who visit this can then click on the Mary Poppins fan page. It's going to redirect me to that Mary Poppins fan page, and then the material's located right here. All right, let's move on to that next item. We're going to drop a picture in, located right next to the text box item. You'll notice that there is a box with a mountain in it. I'm going to click on that tiny down-facing arrow in that space. I have several options. I can upload from my computer. If for some reason it was a yearbook picture and I wanted to use that, or a band picture, or a Sonora picture, I could drop that in there. I can search from the web. I can pull something from Drive. I can also use the camera. So the computer directly in front of you might have a camera staring at your forehead. You could take a picture of yourself right now if you needed to. I'm going to choose Search the Web. And when I do that, I have this delightful box on the right-hand side that appears. It says Search for Images right here. I'm going to type Mary Poppins. After typing Mary Poppins, I'm going to press Enter on my keyboard one time, and I have several items that appear. As you scoot down, you'll see more items appear, and more items appear, and so on. I'm curious what's going to happen when I click on this item over here. I'm not quite sure if the white background is going to follow the image or not. Let's go ahead and click on it and see what happens. After clicking the check mark one time, I'm going to come over here to where it says Insert. I'm going to click Insert one time. And we're going to find out, oh, look at that. This is delightful. This is a PNG, like I was talking about earlier in the presentation, how all of that negative space or unwanted space is hollow or see-through or transparent. And there we go. That is what that looks like. So here's my PNG, and I can move it around. Let me go ahead and resize it as well as rotate it. So when I click in the middle, I can click, leave my index finger down, and then drag appropriately. And then when I let go, the item will move to that spot. Let me show you how you don't want to resize this. Over here on the left, in order to resize it, I need to make sure that I have a two-headed arrow, but watch the mistake that's going to happen. When I put my index finger down on the mouse and then scoot in and then let go, oh no, Mary Poppins is squished. This is not fantastic. Let me use the undo button located over here on the left to undo that. Let me show you how to resize it so that the proportions are not distorted. In the top, actually it doesn't matter, any one of these four corners would be perfect. I need to make sure that my four-headed arrow turns into a two-headed arrow. It might feel very persnickety at first, and it might be clumsy. You'll eventually get the hang of it, and then you will click down and then slide in and then let go. So the object will take that size once you've had a chance to let go. I personally don't want it that small, so I'm going to open it up and make it a little bit larger. I actually want to provide room for text on the bottom, so I'm going to go ahead and probably adjust it here. And up at the very top, there is a small circle on the top of the center square on the perimeter right here. When you click and rotate, you can rotate your image however you wish. So that's a delightful tool that might come in handy at some point in time. So just wanted to make sure that you knew how to do that. Let me also explain one other detail. When you drop, let me use shapes because I haven't modeled shapes yet. You have several different items over here to choose from. My only objective really is to help make sure that you understand what the word order means. I'm going to drop a rectangle in here. So I selected rectangle. I clicked in one corner. I'm sliding and then I'm going to let go. Okay, so here we have this. Let me slow down for just a moment. In the course of this portion of the video, I'm going to highlight how the toolbar will change depending on what you have clicked on. You'll notice up at the top that very few items are on display. When I click on the text box, you will see how the features that are very specific to the text box appear. Now, if I click on the PNG file or the JPEG or the image, you will notice that the specific items inside of that toolbar are characteristics that identify images. When I click away from anything in total, and I have not selected either of them, you'll notice how that toolbar is very minimalistic in nature. So if you are searching and looking for something and you cannot see it, then make sure that you re-engage, that you click on either the text box or that image for those specific characteristics to appear. Let me pick back up where I left off. I'm going to insert a shape and then I'm going to model what order looks like. Up here we have the bucket. The bucket allows you to change colors. I'll change colors so you see what that's like. I will choose a perimeter color so you see what that's like. And I'm going to choose perimeter thickness so you see what that's like. So this item over here is perimeter thickness, and you'll see how that has increased in size, that out exterior perimeter. And let me draw your attention to this. When I click away from the shape, all of those tools have disappeared. When I click back on the shape, all of those tools have reappeared. So if you get frustrated and things begin to disappear, that's why. Click on that item. And then the last one right here that I haven't mentioned yet is how the outer perimeter has the power to change exactly what that specific line style looks like. So just a moment ago I said how order was important. There are times where you have one item and you would like it to be behind another item, and you're kind of wrestling through, like, how do I get this behind? You are going to click on one of those items. You will choose a right click on that particular item. You will choose order. After you choose order, then you're going to choose that you want to send it backward, or you want to send it forward, or send to front, or send to back. And by choosing one of those, then you are determining which item is going to be in the front and which item is going to be in the back. So order is what you would do in order to choose that, and you're going to right click in order to showcase that specific menu item. In the Mary Poppins sample that we're working with, order at this point isn't vital or essential. But if you're working with a molecular model, or you're working with a scientific idea, or there are several items inside your graphic, order is going to be extraordinarily important. For example, I want the text right here to be in the front. So I'm going to right click after selecting that. I'm going to come down to order, and I'm going to bring that item to the front, because previously that text was behind the roof line. If, for example, you cannot see the door and the body of the house is in the front, that is something that you would need to toggle between, because you want the door to be the most front item. So I can remedy that by selecting this, right click, order, and I want to send it to the back, means that it's going to go to the most back position. Send backward means that it's going to go one place back from where it is right now. So I chose for it to go back one step, but you didn't see a change. So send backward one more step. Now it's behind the door. I want it to go behind the roof as well. So let's right click all over again, order, and then send backward. You'll notice that sometimes any one particular item is not very efficient. You'll get the hang of it with more and more practice. The sidewalk down here at the bottom, I want it to be in the most back position, but if I wanted to change my mind and I wanted it to be in the most front position, bring to front is the most forward position. Likewise, send to back is the most back position. Almost as if you have 7 pieces of paper in your hand. You want one in the front, one in the back, and the ones in the middle to be in order. And so over time, with more practice, you'll figure out how to efficiently move items forward or backward. Use those steps in order to determine order. There are additional videos in this series. Please join me for the next video.